what's up, y'all? Rodney James here for Cage Side Press. I'm in fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, of course, reporting to you live on the front lines for UFC 248 here at the hotel and casino by the venue, and I'm here with my man Jamall Emmers. What's up, pretty boy?
How you doing?
Good, man. Good. So he's making his UFC debut. You might have seen him on Contender Series in 2018, Season 2, against my man Julian Erosa. Shout out to Julian. So yeah, man, let's talk, man. So you had the opportunity on Contender Series, a fight that, and you know, look, I know Julian. He trains with us here in Las Vegas. Great fighter. But you know, I've been high on Jamall Emmers for a long time. I've been telling people, I said you got to watch for this guy. And then, of course, that fight was a bad outcome for you. How frustrating was that?
I mean, it was very frustrating, you know, but it's the fight game.
Yeah.
Anything can happen. So, shout out to Julian. He did his part. So I'm not upset at that.
And then after that, since then you've gone on a tear, put together a bunch of wins, and now here you go, getting your official debut.
Yeah, finally getting my shot. Feel amazing, you know. I still think I'm dreaming some days, you know. Got to, you know, do all my media stuff yesterday and look at my fight shorts, and I'm just like, oh man, my name's on some shorts, name on the jersey, you know, so it felt amazing.
And you've been here, like I said, Contender Series. You've been here before and fought in Las Vegas, so it's kind of like, you know, Las Vegas is a place that can be very overwhelming, but it probably feels a little more comfortable this time around because now it's like, okay, it's on the big stage. You know, we're here. Whatever setbacks or whatever ups and downs, we're here now.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's my third time fighting in Vegas, so I'm a little more comfortable than I was the first time. That's for sure.
Man, I didn't know we were doing the interview shirtless, man. It's kind of hot up in here, you know. Some people have to cut weight, you know. But so I want to tell an interesting fact about you. I've been knowing you for a minute now. So a few years ago, I actually fought on a card, I should say you co-headlined a card that I fought on the undercard, RFA 41. If you see there, it featured Trayvon Giles in the main event, who just fought at the last UFC pay-per-view in Houston against my good buddy Josh Clark, who trains with me over at Extreme. Shout out to Josh. And then here's the old pretty boy Jamall Emmers. And then actually the fight before that, which is not on this flyer here, was Alex Hernandez, and that's actually a guy that you beat. You handed him his first loss, and now he's actually in the UFC. It's kind of crazy how things work. It's a small world. Like, what was that like when you saw a guy that you had beaten get his opportunity to get in the UFC? Did it add frustration after seeing that happen after you had been on Contender Series?
No, I didn't. You know, I was happy for him that he got signed. You know, like, that's good for him. He worked hard enough to get there, so I'm not.
He's a great fighter.
Yeah, he's a great fighter.
Yeah. So tell me about your camp and your coaching staff. I know, like I said, we know a lot of the same people and stuff like that because of the South Texas scene, and that's kind of how we connected in the first place. So where are you based out of now, and who you working with?
I'm based out of Redlands, California, working at with Pinnacle. My head coach, Jacob Beanie, one of my teammates, and also coaches Brandon Hastings and Ben Jones out of CSW.
Okay, now you're fighting a guy, I have a hard time pronouncing his name. What did we agree on his first name was?
Gigon.
Gigon?
Yes, Gigon.
I was looking at his record. Doesn't have a whole. It has less than 10 MMA fights. I understand he comes from a kickboxing background, but a lot of people were underwhelmed by his debut performance against Brandon Davis because he won a split decision that a lot of people thought should have gone the other way. That can be good and bad though, because on one hand you can say, well, maybe he's not at this level, he's not elite, he's not ready for somebody at your level, but at the same time it could be like, well, he's also hungry and maybe even his back's against the wall, sort of desperate to get a win, so he's dangerous in that respect. He might be willing to take more chances.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? Maybe he was just flat that night. Sometimes it happens. It was his debut, so he was probably a little more nervous than normal. So he just did what he can do to get the job done.
So what do you know about him as far as his background?
I know he's a former Glory kickboxer. Got over 30 fights, I believe. fought some tough guys, you know, beat some tough guys, lost to some tough guys, but that's all I know about him.
So, you know, like I said, you had the opportunity on Contender Series. You had to go back to the grind, and you stayed the course. Now you got put on this card as a late replacement for, help me out. I'm trying to remember who he was supposed to fight originally.
Well, I forgot his name.
Yeah.
So
nonetheless, how did you get offered this fight?
Well, I got offered this fight. I was supposed to fight a Russian guy originally. That was who I was supposed to fight. Then he got hurt, and Gigan got replaced, put in his position. So that's how that happened. Gigan wasn't even my original opponent.
I see. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought I didn't recognize them. So actually, both of the fights ended up having a replacement. So it's just a whole other fight altogether.
Yeah, it's a whole new fight. Yeah.
Okay, and you're saying you don't remember who they had you against originally, or who was it?
I don't want to slaughter his name, so I'm not gonna even try. I just know he's a Russian guy, trains out of Tiger Muay Thai. Got in a motorcycle accident, so that took him out of the fight. So we're a couple days out from weigh-ins. How do you feel right now? I know you fight at 45. You got to make the limit of 46. Mm-hmm. This is for those of you who've not cut weight. This is a trying time. This is where it starts to suck really bad. How do you feel overall? I feel good. I've done everything right. My nutrition was right. The weight's just coming off, so I don't think it's gonna be a bad weight cut.
So you're fighting. You're pretty early on the card. The venue's walking distance from your room. After the fight, how do you plan to celebrate? Are you gonna hang out at the arena and watch the fights? You come back and experience Las Vegas? What are you gonna do?
Well, I plan on watching the fights and then experiencing Las Vegas after. I'm a fight fan first, so Vegas can wait, but I'm excited about the rest of the card.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing that. You hear a lot of guys say, "Oh, I don't even watch fights. I don't like watching." Like, how can you be a fighter and not be a fan? This is the greatest sport in the world.
Yes.
So what is your background anyway? How did you? I don't think I've ever asked you. How did you get into martial arts in the first place?
Well, I was a fan at first, of course. Me, my brother, and my dad were always on the weekends. We would go to Blockbuster and rent old Pride videos, old UFC videos.
Yeah.
That's how I got introduced to the sport.
Me too.
After that, I started wrestling. So wrestling was my first discipline.
I see.
Yeah.
And when did you start wrestling?
I was in 9th grade when I started. When I was in high school.
Okay, and you wrestled all through high school?
Yeah, wrestled through high school and a year in college, and after that, I transitioned to MMA.
Yeah, and when did you turn pro?
I turned pro 2012.
All right, man. Well, listen, I wish you the best of luck. I'm happy to see you get here. I'm happy to see the larger audience of the UFC fans. Outside of the niche, like the hardcore fans are the ones that really watch Contender Series. But when it comes to a big fight, especially like the one we have coming up this weekend, everybody's tuning in. So I'm glad you get to showcase your skills on that. And before we get out of here, anything that you would like to plug? Your social media, where can we find you?
Yeah, social media, Instagram, Pretty Boy Emmers, Facebook, Jamall Pretty Boy Emmers.
He's Jamall Pretty Boy Emmers. I'm Rodney James for Cage Side Press.